Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me well. Is the sound all right? Can somebody just indicate? Can you hear? Can you hear anyone?
Yes,
Yeah.
all good.
All right. Thanks, Smriti. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So sorry, it took a while to start. I was just waiting 5 minutes for everyone to gather. And you know how the mind works, right? Maybe if I wait 5 minutes, more people will come. So the session for today and the topic is understanding how my mind works. And I think it's such a basic topic, but not so basic in other ways, because it's all about really knowing the seed of my entire life. If I understand how my mind works, basically I've understood how the world works. Because the whole world is a projection of my mind, isn't it? True or not? My mind interprets everything that's happening in the world according to how it is programmed. So, I'm going to speak a little bit, and then I'll give you a chance for question and answers and for interaction. And then I'm going to speak a little bit again. All right, and we definitely will do a meditation in between, because that's what it's all about. So let me just start off by describing what is the mind. It has so many different definitions, and many different people have their own ideas. The mind essentially is a computer screen for the soul, right? So I'm the soul, I'm sitting inside this body, I'm the living being. And the mind is just like many of you are probably looking at a screen now, whether it's the screen of your computer or the screen of your phone. The mind is the screen. And the mind is a very active screen. I'm sure you all would agree, isn't it? The mind loves to. What is it that the mind does? What's the one thing that the mind does all the time? Anybody? The mind loves to think. So it's the mind's job to think. And really, if you've ever been to a class by me, ever, you know that I would have said the mind is like a popcorn machine. And it really is, constantly popping thoughts, popping thoughts. And so many people who come to learn meditation, they don't have a huge interest in spirituality. They don't have a huge interest in philosophy. All they want is, how can I stop my mind from thinking so much? And I understand. I can really accept that, yes, there is an issue there. And the issue is not that the mind is so overactive. The issue is that what is behind the mind is not sitting well. But just to understand the mind a little bit more. And so the mind, before you have a thought come up on your mind, you have a whole processor inside you. You have what we call the subconscious mind sitting with all your memories and all your old ways of processing things. You have all of your habits and what we call your sanskaras, the impressions inside the soul, all sitting in your subconscious mind. And they get thrown onto your conscious mind every time they are triggered. So what triggers your subconscious mind? So any trigger that comes from outside, any impulse from outside, goes through your sense organs, right? And it also goes through another filter. So for example, you see something that you like to eat. Like for me, the best thing I could see today is dark chocolate, right? Especially if it's mint dark chocolate or dark chocolate with some nuts in it, So what happens is the eyes see that. That's the first level of filtration. Your sense organs have the ability to take something in, whether it's through your ears or your tongue or your eyes, whatever. Then the second level of filtration is when something goes through the filter of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind basically has all your previous recording in it. When I mean previous recording, that's all about, last time I did this, this is what happened. I have a habit of doing this, so that's probably what will happen again. Or the last time I saw this person, this is what they said. It wasn't nice. I don't want to have anything to do with them again. So all your old stuff is sitting in your subconscious mind, and that's going to be a filter through which all of your triggers will go through. Only then, when all of that is done, do you see something on your conscious mind. So before something gets onto your conscious mind, interestingly enough, it's already gone through levels of filtration. It's a bit like an AI program, really, your subconscious mind. It's the most sharp and most accurate AI program I've ever known. And by the time your mind is affected, you have already been through all of this. So when we say, I want peace in my mind, what are we actually saying? What am I actually saying when I say, I'd like to be more peaceful? I want a more peaceful mind. I want my mind to slow down. What I'm actually saying is, I want to be triggered in such a way that my sense organs are picking up only peace. That when that trigger goes through my subconscious mind, before it's even projected as a thought on my mind, my subconscious mind is actually filtering everything and bringing it to peace. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah? So by the time it gets projected onto my mind as a thought, I have processed it back to peace. So let's say, and actually when I say peace, let me just clarify what I mean by peace. I am at peace with something. That's the state we all want to reach. I want to stay in a place of peace. That's the aim of all of us vis-a-vis our connection with the mind. Peace doesn't mean I'm passive. No, it's a comfortable place. Behind peace, there are some other steps before I can be at peace with something. Firstly, I need to understand the event or the person. If you don't understand something properly, you cannot be at peace with it. Secondly, you need to accept it. Acceptance, again, doesn't mean that I want to repeat that action or I want to repeat the event. No, but I accept it is as it is. It was as it was. I can't change it. The third thing, which is so important before I can be at peace with anything, is I can empower myself to create a change where possible. And I call that wisdom. The wisdom to know that through my life, I can be an example to educate people, to empower people, to create change. So for example, if I see something happening outside of me, something that really causes me anxiety or peacelessness, first I have to understand why it is happening. Come to a place of acceptance, and then know that through my life, I can make a difference, even if it's to the 5 people who are closest in my life. so that I am not propagating that negativity. In fact, I'm creating a circle of pure resistance. This is a new word. Pure resistance means I am not going to put energy into that negative action. In fact, I will create a positive action which is juxtaposed that negative action. And until I can't empower myself to create something positive which is opposite to the negative, I won't be at peace. So let's take a practical example about how this works. Suppose I see something happening outside of me. Okay, a mother slapping her child. No, I don't believe that mothers need to slap their children ever. I'm so sorry if you're a mother on this call and you're thinking, how on earth can I raise my children in a peaceful way? Yeah, Mayada. You can only laugh at that, can't we? So, but I really believe, because I was never slapped in my life by my parents, and so I really believe that you can bring up children in a more peaceful, royal manner, even though kids these days are a little bit naughtier than when I was a child, but still. So you see this incident outside, right? You've seen it through your eyes. Your ears are hearing the child screaming. Your ears are hearing the mother yelling. So all your senses are also taking in the event. It's triggering the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind says, that's wrong. That shouldn't be happening. I'm so not at peace with it, you know? The mother shouldn't even be a mother, right? And I should report that. It's not good. Now, what's actually happening is that I'm not understanding the situation. I'm not understanding that this mother has probably been to work. She's a sole mother, you know, she's alone, doesn't have a partner. She might have 4 other kids sitting in the car. So there's something in the equation I haven't understood. And even if it's just a mom with 1 child, maybe I'm not aware of her state of mind. I'm not aware of what she's going through. I'm not aware of her upbringing. You know, I'm sitting in my little privileged box saying, that's not right. But how can anything be right? Or how can I believe anything is right or wrong for someone else? Does that make sense? Have you ever done that? You sit on your little privileged box and you look at someone else's life and you say, oh, that's not right, or that shouldn't be like that, or you shouldn't be like this. Have you ever done that? So, firstly, I've not understood. Secondly, I've not accepted that this is a situation in front of me, that I can't change every situation. I cannot drive every situation. What I can do is maybe to step in and say, do you need some help? Can I support whatever's going on? Especially if you have good skills with children, which I don't have. But somehow I find that, you know, children, when there's a stranger, they start to behave very differently. Firstly, they jump onto their best behavior. Somehow, you know, they feel like they can run riot with their mum and dad. But if there's a stranger, they start to sort of, you know, sense, oh, I have to behave better. Secondly, it's amazing how children respond to vibrations. And if they feel that you really love them and you've stepped in to care for them, they stop yelling and screaming. And if you offer them a chocolate, things get much, much better, or, you know, toffee or something. So many times, you know, when I see situations like that, I empower myself to create change, to step in and do my best. If, of course, the person wants to take my help. If they don't, I still empower myself to not behave in that way. And even though maybe I can't do anything in this situation, I make sure that when I have lots of yelling and screaming kids in my house, I don't behave like that and I don't get upset. So by actually putting energy, thoughts, words, and actions in the opposite direction, what have I done? It's like I'm starting to tip the scales inside my own life. And that helps me to understand that I can make a difference in my own little way in this world. Not every situation is at my disposal to create change, but at least let me not repeat what that person was doing. And by not repeating it and choosing different values, I'm actually helping the balance in the world go back to one of being more peace, less violence. Do you see what I mean? So how does the mind work? The mind works as per your subconscious programming. The mind works according to your filter. The mind works just by showing you what all you have stored inside. You know, it's a bit like when your phone suddenly flashes and says things like, you have less storage space inside, or your computer. Anyone had that happen to them? And suddenly you go into a frenzy and go, oh my God, I've got no storage space inside. What am I going to do? Right? Because I need storage space. And can I tell you that most of the people I meet these days, they have so little storage space left inside them. And unfortunately, a lot of the storage space inside is taken up by old unprocessed memories, old unprocessed events, old unprocessed incidents that have left an impression in me. The things that I should have processed and finished and thrown out are still sitting there. Not for days, not for years, but for decades. And I'm going to ask you very honestly. How many of you can put your hand up and say, I have no unprocessed memories inside? Nothing inside me is there from my past, which is old and affecting me in a negative way as a filter. I never remember, oh, this person is always like that. Oh, this person, said this to me so many years ago. Oh, I was treated like this. Is there anyone like that? I don't think so, right? So, nobody? Everyone's quiet.
No,
So what
probably
happens is, Smriti?
Are you saying no? That's probably a impossible situation we feel as of now.
You feel like it's impossible? Yes, I think we all feel like it's impossible, but it's actually not impossible. It's not impossible. And I'll come to how we can create a situation by which we actually don't have unprocessed stuff inside. Please note the words I'm using: unresolved and unprocessed memories, unresolved and unprocessed impressions, right? So it's not memories and impressions that are resolved, that are sorted out, that have been processed properly, stored properly. It's when things go inside and they're all higgledy-piggledy. You just have a bad impression of something and you just chuck it in. And you never bother to think, hang on, what happened there? Did I really understand the situation? Did I really understand the meaning behind it? If I did, it would not be a problem. Anything that is processed and resolved inside your subconscious mind means it has a positive effect on you. Anything that creates any negativity towards anyone, towards any situation, is coming from an unprocessed place. So is there anyone who never has a negative thought, who never has a negative feeling? Then you can say, I have no unprocessed memory. Now, is there anyone who never has negative thoughts and feelings? Anyone have the courage to put their hand up and say, I never have any negative thoughts, never negative reactions? Because what we have been taught to believe in our past is that the problem lies out there. If I see something negative happening, well, of course it is negative, because see, there are negative. That person is negative, the event is negative. So of course there's negativity, right? What we are not taught to understand, what we are not taught to believe, is the feeling or the understanding that whatever's happening out there is neutral. What makes it negative or positive is the way I process it. And the way I process anything is the way it will be projected onto my mind as a thought. So for example, the same example, a mother with a child in the supermarket and she's slapping it and screaming at it and the child's screaming. A person who doesn't have any unresolved issues inside them would look at it and say, goodness, it's so hard to be a young mother. They won't say, oh, look at her, she shouldn't be doing that. They'll just go with a lot of empathy, with a lot of compassion. They would say, oh, it's a really difficult thing to do. And I'm sure she's doing her very best under the circumstances that she's living. I would call that a properly processed, a properly resolved subconscious mind processor. So if I am properly resolved, I have nothing but understanding, acceptance, and empathy, good wishes for people and for events. Which means the screen of my mind is perpetually seeing that positivity laid on it. Isn't that beautiful? Nothing can trigger anything negative inside. If there is a trigger of something negative, it means my filter is choked. My filter is blocked. Blocked with what? Old unprocessed memories, old unprocessed ways of thinking, feeling, and being. Okay, so I've been talking for about 25 minutes, half an hour. Yeah, so I'm going to open up the floor for a little bit of Q&A or comments, and then I want to continue a little bit more after that. This isn't all. I've got more to say. So, does anyone have any questions about what I've said? Or does anyone have any comments you'd like to make? Okay, why nowadays is it so difficult to sit in silence? Very good question. Someone else has sent me a private question. How to know which memories are processed and which are not? Okay, good. That's also a good question. And I think, sorry, there was a comment above that I noticed. As the mobile storage is increasing, the mind storage is decreasing, which is actually linked to one of the later questions. It's Salsan, yeah, I have no unprocessed memories, the things we go over, even if it's negative sometimes. Well, no, if you have negativity, then there's something unprocessed. The soul is still holding something that is unprocessed inside. So let me start to answer some of these questions. Why is it so difficult to sit in silence now? The reason for that is that we have very little practice of allowing the mind to come back to its original state. We have very little ability of knowing how to process things from the past and let them go. Our ability to understand things from the right perspective has diminished. We want to understand things, but we don't. We don't, partly because that's the way we've been brought up. Values have changed over generations. People's ways of thinking and feeling about things that are different to themselves has changed. There was a lot more tolerance, a lot more integration, a lot more inclusivity in the world 100 years ago. And now those things are really starting to diminish. They're coming down a lot. In fact, anything that is not my way means the highway now. People are finding it very hard to accept that the fact that someone's different to me doesn't mean that they are bad. It's hard to say, live and let live. So because that is all sitting in my unprocessed mind, it just means that everything that's triggering me is creating a reaction. A reaction means noise. Reaction means noise. And the more I am creating this noise, the more I'm feeling that I'm not actually able to feel that sense of silence and peace. Peace is actually quite a superficial word. The word that I really like in place of peace is stillness. How long can you be still while meandering through life? Sitting in a room meditating, yeah, of course you can be still. But when you see things happening around you, when you look at the news, when you're really being stimulated and triggered, can you be still? Can you watch it all and go, there is meaning behind what's going on. There is an understanding. And also realizing that every person who's behaving in a way that's different to what you would do also has their own story. Even they have, something that's making them behave that way. That is understanding. And then accepting that not everyone is sitting in the privileged box that I am. Even to be able to come to an online workshop like this. Even to be able to be in a place where I can accept spiritual thoughts and I can, process what's being said. Even this is a privilege in today's world. So am I just sitting in my privileged box looking at the world? Or am I using my spiritual awareness to make me rich inside? Richness of the soul means mercy, empathy, understanding, tolerance, offering these feelings, these values to the world. Because if I'm not putting what I think is right and what I think is wrong, and this is my belief system, if I'm not actually putting it into action, I'm not changing my recording, my programming. This is why there's no silence inside, because I'm not practicing stillness. I'm not bringing myself back to that inner state of stillness and peace. The more I am still, the more I am silent. But I can't be still if I have unprocessed stuff inside me. How can I? So the secret to feeling stillness, silence, peace is process the rubbish inside you. How do you process? Through understanding, through wisdom, through knowledge. And if I can use one word before it, spiritual understanding, spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge. Okay, so then the next question that came up, how do I think it just leads on to this, how can I know which memories are processed and which are not? So the minute I react to something, it means I have unprocessed stuff inside me. And that unprocessed stuff has been triggered. Reaction, which is the opposite of a wise response, is a sign of something unprocessed exploding. Something unprocessed showing its ugly face in my mind. And usually before a reaction, whether you notice it or not, you've probably had a very negative thought or feeling. So before you actually yell at somebody or respond in a negative way, you've probably had the thought, that's not right, you're not being respectful, you're not being fair, or something like that. Sometimes it happens so quickly. You don't notice the thought or the feeling, but it is there. So that's the sign that things are unprocessed. Okay, and then how can we spare negative thoughts around us which affect our mind? So again, if I'm having negative thoughts, they're all coming from my unprocessed stuff inside. If that was not there, I would be able to understand the situation and see it from quite a different perspective. Yeah, so I'm just working through things bit by bit here. Then I'm happy to notice how my mind interprets situations differently, shows empathy and gives other people excuses, or leaves a space that maybe they're having a hard time. So the more that you go into this mode, the more it means you are processing all the triggers inside, so that you're responding with a lot more empathy, compassion, mercy. And actually that empowers you, Once you notice that, see, this person is in pain, things are not working out for them, you actually are empowering yourself never to get into that situation, never to be that way. When you notice something negative and you think, not right, if you're processing that in the right way, what you're actually telling yourself is, I don't want to be like that. Yeah, so another thought. I noticed something as follows. A is warning B of something. B feels that A is ordering them or telling them something. So probably A should explain the reason to B, and so that B understands their intention. Absolutely. But even if A doesn't do that, the fact that B is triggered means they have an issue with authority. Whenever we feel like, I don't want people to tell me what to do, it means I have an issue with authority. I mean, I feel it sometimes with my mother. I think I tell stories about my mother on many of my workshops. But I know it's not her, it's me. It really is me not knowing how to be at peace with someone thinking something different to me and saying, well, so what? So what that she feels this way? So what that she thinks this way? It's okay. I don't have to react to it. At the same time, I don't have to do everything she tells me to. I can just say, okay. Okay doesn't mean, yes, I'll do what you're telling me to do. I don't need to react. Reaction means exactly what you said. Don't tell me what to do. Why should I even feel that way? Even if she does continue to tell me what to do, it doesn't matter. I don't have to do that. I can be still. I can be peaceful and go, that's an interesting thought you're having. I don't have to react. Right? So then I think another last message under that. A couple of messages actually. So it's like we are on the surface, lacking depth. Definitely. Most of the diseases we suffer from are due to traumas that we did not resolve since childhood. Absolutely true, because the traumas begin not now. They come from our past. And so if things are not resolved, ultimately that energy from here will permeate through my body. And most diseases now come from patterns that I create inside that are stored in my subconscious mind. So for example, someone says, oh, I get angry. Well, it's a pattern that you've created of reacting in an angry way. You can change it, but you don't want to. You want to believe that that's your nature. You want to believe I'm an angry person. Well, that's not true, because every soul at its core is made of love and peace. but it has become a habit, a pattern that you've created again and again and again and again. And so now you believe this is me. But that belief is not true. And if you wanted to let go of it, you could. But you have to stop believing this is me. So you come back to, who am I? Am I born an angry person? Am I made an angry person? Is that how the Supreme sent me down here? Not at all. You've become that way. And so if you believe that I am a being of peace and that anger is just attached to me like a habit, because I've repeated it so many times, then you can start to create the change. So another question, what to do if someone causes long-term damage with their behavior, even after accepting them? If you have accepted someone, they cannot damage you. They cannot affect you at all. Sorry. I'll repeat it. If you have accepted someone, they cannot affect you. I'll repeat it a third time. If you have accepted someone, they cannot affect you. If you are being affected, it means that somehow, somewhere inside, you're not really accepting them with an open heart. You say you're accepting them, but you're not. You haven't understood they are the way they are because of something that's happening inside them.
That was really a tricky answer, Sister Sona.
Well, it's true.
I have to process it.
It's true, if I accept someone fully, then they cannot hurt me. They cannot actually have an impact on my subconscious mind, because the minute you expand your heart and you accept people through understanding them, you don't have to know their whole life story, but just knowing something makes them the way they are, something unresolved in their own subconscious mind. It is what it is. I can't get into their subconscious mind and, sort it out. They have to do it themselves. So if I can actually just understand that much, then I allow them to be the way they are. There are so many people in my life. I wish I could heal them. I wish I could help them, but they don't want that help. They want to stay the way they are. And yet I have the faith, that one day in time, life will help them to sort themselves out. I really have that faith, and I have those good wishes that they will be healed. Healed means their process of resolving stuff inside, the processing that needs to happen. It will happen. Because I'm dealing with spiritual people. I'm dealing with people who are, very sensible. It's just that sometimes we get stuck. There's certain big blobs of unprocessed, unresolved stuff inside us that just get in the way and make us behave a particular way. It happens to all of us. It's a bit like, you're driving your car along, and the little stones you can kind of, swerve and you can drive around them. But if there's suddenly a big rock in the middle of the road, you have to think about what to do in a different way. And so for all of us, sometimes there are those difficult things. Okay, so any other questions anyone would like to ask? Or otherwise, I'd like to do a little meditation if that's possible. Okay, so I'd like you to just put your pens down. Okay, the question that is coming is how to process unprocessed memories. I'll come to that after the meditation. And how to avoid negativity, even after it's over, the moment is over, and especially if it keeps affecting you. Okay, so now for a moment, just put your pens, phones down, and just sit in a very relaxed position. And allow yourself to be in the here and now. And as I sit here in the present, I look at my past. I look at all my experiences. I look at my entire journey. I look at it with love. And when I look at my journey with love, it helps me to begin the process of understanding me. I, the traveler on this journey, I, the soul, trying to make sense of life. Love is the greatest power that heals. So when I look at my own journey, my own past, my own self with love, I start to open myself to understanding me, to knowing myself better, to finding out why I am the way I am. And as I understand myself better, and I realize all my triggers, what disturbs me, what creates difficulty inside me, what makes me feel uncomfortable, as I understand all of that, I start to realize that I'm not a bad person, that I'm trying my very best in a difficult world. And I start to love myself more. And this begins my journey to healing, to accepting, and to want to change. I don't want to feel this pain anymore. I want to be happy. So the journey to processing, clearing, healing begins with love. and love comes naturally where I know, where I believe that I, the soul, am a being of goodness. Take a deep breath in and remember your goodness. Breathe out, and again, a deep breath in, remembering all your inner goodness. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to, there's a couple of questions more that have come through. I thought I'd just address those. So one is how to avoid negativity if it keeps affecting you. So it's not about the negativity that I can change or avoid. You can avoid it, but by avoiding it, you're actually avoiding changing yourself. And so you're understanding that that is only feeling negative to you because of the way you see it, because of the way you're processing it. So if I process it differently, then, it won't be so negative. So firstly, understanding that it's not really negative. It's the way it is. Someone's different to me. Different does not make them negative. That's very, very important. Remember, someone being different does not make them negative. That's the first thing I really, really have to understand. Second thing that's so important to understand is that if I'm being affected, then I really need to realize that I'm being triggered, that there's something inside me that doesn't like them, that is criticizing them, or, obviously if you want to avoid them, then there's more than even criticism. Yeah. So why can't I just accept that it's their life? If they want to lead it that way, that's their issue. Let me lead my life according to my values and the way that I believe is correct. And that's the empowerment I give myself. So if I see someone being, unfair, I don't behave that way. If I see someone being violent, I don't behave that way. If I see someone lying, I don't behave that way. Does that make sense? So that's the way to deal with negativity. Ask your own heart, where did all that negativity come from? Yeah. How to process unprocessed memories. So you know what I'm going to say? Meditation. Meditation is a way of touching base with my core, because below all the unprocessed stuff is the core of the soul. And the core of the soul is love, peace, stillness, joy, wisdom. So actually, on that note, we are running a new meditation course starting this Tuesday the 29th. It's in English, and it will be from 6:30 p.m. UAE time to 7:30 p.m. UAE time. If anyone is interested in joining, then please do message me via whatever connection you have that brings you to this call. Maybe a friend has recommended. Just get my WhatsApp number and WhatsApp me and let me know you want to join. It's online, and of course it's in person for people who live in Abu Dhabi, but online for anyone from around the world. So if you'd like to join a meditation course that explains all of these things and helps you to process your unprocessed emotions, then please message me. Don't write in the chat box here because I won't remember. message me and you're welcome to join. Secondly, there's also a meditation course starting in Arabic. You're welcome to join the English and the Arabic, but if you prefer the Arabic, again, message me and I'd be very happy to put you onto our Arabic teachers. They're probably going to start a week or two after me, so very welcome. Okay, everyone, so shall we end the session there? It's almost 5 o'clock, unless anyone has any more questions to ask. So the last thing I wanted to say before we end, you know, the belief that I am made of something good, the belief that my core is peaceful and pure, you know, how can I be sure that that's true? How can I be sure that, you know, that really I am a being of love? The very fact that I'm looking for it, the very fact that I want to be at peace, means that I had it at some time and I've lost it. The very fact that you're on this call wanting to learn something more about yourself means that you knew something, but you've forgotten it. Yeah? So, if you're on a journey seeking something, it means you had it before and now you don't. And that's why you're looking for it. If you never had something, you would never look for it. So be sure that if you're looking to be more loving, if you're looking to be more peaceful, if you're looking to be wiser, there's a reason behind that. And the reason is, that was you. It is you. Somewhere inside, that love, that peace, that wisdom, that silence is buried. And that will be you in the future. All you need to do is to peel back all the layers of all the unprocessed stuff. That means that you can reveal your sparkling, beautiful self. And the last question I'll answer is, how do we know that a memory has finally been processed? There'll be no more trigger. There'll be no more reaction. There'll be no more negativity being thrown up on your mind. Your mind will be filled with good wishes, positivity, pure thoughts. Even while seeing negative stuff happening around you, all you would say is, I understand. I understand why you are the way you are. I understand what's making you like this. And not just understand, but I also accept. This is your choice, this is your way. And I empower myself not to go down that same track. When I reach that place, it means my subconscious mind which was unprocessed, is clean. My mind is clear. And my mind is now being used in a positive way for myself and for the world. Okay? So thank you for joining me, everyone, today. Simple class, isn't it? It's not rocket science. It's not difficult. But
thank you, Sister Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohsen. Thank you for joining. It's
Nice
so nice
presentation, Allah.
Yeah, good,
So
good,
much
good. So
information, good
take
information.
away this one mantra with you, this one last thought, that I can let go of anything inside me. The more I let go of, the more positive my mind will be as a screen. Okay? All right, so have a lovely morning, evening, good night, whatever it is in your time zone. And if you'd like to join the meditation course on Tuesday, remember to message me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Om Shanti.
Thank you so much as well for joining.